Welcome, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us for ERA Summer 2022 Demo Day. For many of you, I think we've seen you 10 or 20 times before, and we're thrilled to have you here. Before we jump into the program, we first wanted to welcome our very generous sponsors from Goodwin, Sarah Werner and Jeff Klein. Thank you very much for having us. We'll turn it over to you to get started.
Hey, everybody. Good evening and welcome. Welcome to Goodwin. We are super excited to be hosting our first ever ERA Demo Day live here from our beautiful conference center, which I affectionately call Goodwin Theater. Goodwin is a leading law firm, global law firm for technology companies and for the investors who support them. We think of ourselves at the intersection of capital and innovation, and there's really not a better example of that than tonight's event. I'm Jeff Klein. I'm a corporate lifecycle attorney. I'm also one of the leaders of our technology companies practice, and I've been with Goodwin for 24 years.
24 years, Jeff. That's a pretty long time. Hi. Closer to the microphone. All right. Hi, I'm Sarah Werner. I'm a private investment fund and lifecycle attorney. How long have I been practicing? Let's do an over-under. I'll say I've been practicing longer than the 10 plus years that I've been working to help and work with and support ERA, but less than Benjamin Button over here. I have been fortunate enough to have the privilege of helping to support John, Murat, Brian, Jeremy, Max, Marissa, and the rest of the ERA team as they have built this absolutely incredible community of founders, investors, and advisors over that period of time, so many of whom are here tonight. We look forward to continuing the legacy of collaboration and working with John, Murat, and the rest of the ERA team to continue to support the journey of ERA companies and the broader ERA community. The heart of this community is, of course, ERA's rockstar founders, who you have come here to see tonight. Thank you for coming and for listening to us. Let's pass the mic back to the ERA team to get tonight's event rolling. All right, thank you very much.
Before we get started, we wanted to pause for one moment to give really a recognition to someone who passed away earlier this week, who's been a wonderful friend to ERA for a very long time. Phil Neches, who is a venture partner, an operating partner, a dear friend, and really someone who a generation of ERA founders turned to for advice, for wisdom, or just when they needed someone to be able to lend a helping hand. He's going to be missed very sorely.
He was an amazing member of our community as a mentor, lead mentor. He was very, very deeply intellectual, but he was also very, very kind. And this week, many of our founders reached out to us expressing their sorrow and telling us like many different stories of how Phil shaped their life and how Phil changed their life. So we are deeply, deeply sorry. And we wanted to take a moment with everyone for Phil Neches.
Thank you. So we know what Phil would say to us now. The show must go on. He wanted nothing more than to see these founders come up and talk to all of you. So, in that spirit, we are going to get started. So just to start, a thank you from the entire ERA team, myself, Murat, and the entire team. It's been a privilege to work with the founders. Yes, that's right. Actually, it has been a privilege to work with the founders for the last 4 months. It's an incredible group of companies, and we are sure that each and every one of you here today is going to find at least one company they're going to be excited to write a check into. They really do represent some of the most exciting trends in technology today, and whether it be B2B or B2C, whether it be climate or Web3, you're going to find a company here today that's doing something truly innovative. So again, we appreciate you all being here, and we're sure that everyone's going to be able to write 2 or 3 checks today. Now, when we look at these companies, one of the things that we're so excited about is that they join a group now of almost 600 ERA founders, 300 ERA companies who've come before them. And that includes a group of now 4 unicorns from the ERA family that we're incredibly proud of. We're sure that one of these companies, maybe 2 or 3, is going to join them in the future. And we couldn't be more proud of both unicorns, our 300 companies, and everyone in between. So we are going to get started and get to the companies in a minute. But before we do, we want to provide a couple thank yous. First of all, to our 500 plus mentors who help us, thank you so much. We couldn't do what we do. The companies couldn't they do what they do without you. Thank you very much again. Let's give a round of applause.
Thank you, John. So we really value community, and our community of here you see lead mentors that engage with the companies on a weekly basis and supported them. Thank you so much to our lead mentors. And this is actually a very great list of also people that engage with our companies from our alumni founders community as well. Our alumni startup founders come and help the new companies. So we have, again, like here, some alumni founders here that engage with this class. And obviously our EIRs, Entrepreneurs in Residence, is our ERA founders that went through the program. And they've exited their companies and now they're like looking for new ideas and they come hang out with us, help us. And our venture partners, thanks so much to our venture partners for helping us. And it's a huge community. But as John mentioned, we are right now at Goodwin and Proctor's offices. The views are great. When the screens go up, you can see outside what's going on. But our pitch coaches, we would love to thank them for their support for this class. They spend a lot of time, and soon, like we are going to get out the way. You will see the companies, and you'll see the difference our pitch coaches have made. But obviously, we would love to thank our sponsors. Almost all of these companies have been working with us for 12 years. Thanks to Microsoft, Witham, AWS, Stripe, Goodwin, JustWorks, Silicon Valley Bank, and Google Cloud Platform. Thank you so much to all the sponsors and the community and the lead mentors and the alumni mentors and the venture partners. Now the best part of the show, we get out of the way and you see the companies. Here's our partner, Brian Hecht, to present the first company.
I am so excited about this cohort, and I think after hearing from them, you will too. So without further ado, let me introduce our first company. Please welcome Emil Cox, the CEO and co-founder of GenVision. Give it up. GenVision.
Hi everyone, so excited to see all of you. My name is Emil and I'm the CEO of GenVision. Since before all of us here were alive, this forest in Brazil has been removing carbon from the air and storing it in its trees. But now Miguel, the owner, needs money and he has received a very attractive offer to cut it down. Meaning that no longer will this forest capture any carbon, but also the thousands of tons of carbon it once stored will be released back into the air. But there is an alternative. Enter carbon offsets. That's when companies pay money to preserve forests just like this one. And by doing so, they are reducing their own carbon footprint. With new regulations, the demand for carbon offsets will grow by 50x by the end of this decade. But there's a huge constraint on the supply. To sell carbon offsets, you first need to measure how much carbon is stored in a forest, and this is how that happens today. With a tape measure. It's not very accurate. It's also very expensive. In fact, it is so expensive that only the 10% largest forests in the world are even being considered for it. Think about that. Carbon offsets will be crucial to solve the climate crisis, and 90% of forests are completely ignored. And that's exactly why we decided to found GenVision, the scientific and scalable way to measure carbon. This was not an easy problem to solve, but boy, have we cracked the code. Let me show you how we do it. We pull satellite images, as well as data on climate, soil, vegetation from multiple providers, and then the magic happens. This is our technology. Our AI simulates in 3D how these trees have grown until it matches up with reality perfectly. These simulations are truly groundbreaking because they're rooted in science, with parameters like the amount of light, even the tree's hormones. With this 3D model, we can now measure how much carbon is stored in a forest. So when a landowner like Miguel agrees not to cut down their forest for the next 20 years, we certify that for carbon offsets. Companies can buy those offsets through our marketplace while we keep a commission on every transaction. That's recurring revenue, not just for us, but also for landowners like Miguel, who have to do absolutely nothing. With this technology, we can do all of that remotely, meaning that we are no longer talking about the 10% largest forest in the world. No, GenVision is opening up carbon offsets to 95% of forests worldwide. So who are we? Over the last 3 years, I was at UC Berkeley, where I received the Stephen Lancy Award for my work on 3D modeling trees. And it is with this money that I was able to start GenVision. And that's me with my amazing co-founder, Wout. Although it doesn't really look like it in the picture, he has 3 masters. He has worked at Capgemini Engineering, and he has an incredible mind for business. We've been best friends since we were 3 years old. In fact, that's us together on the horse on our first carbon excursion. So if you can't tell already, as a team, we are incredibly passionate about the climate. And we are advised by the amazing Catherine Marr, who is the former CEO of the Wikimedia Foundation. With this technology, we have a very exciting future ahead of us. We have set the goal to lock in 500 million tons of carbon in the next 5 years. That is the equivalent of removing all the cars in America from the road for an entire year. The market is desperate for a trustworthy and scalable solution for carbon offsets, and GenVision is here to play a key role in solving the climate crisis. My name is Emile, and this is GenVision. Thanks so much.
Just before we get going with the next pitch, there are a lot of seats at the front. If folks who came in at the back want some seats, there are more up here. Feel free to shuffle around the side. Next up, I am very pleased to introduce Nishant Hari, co-founder and CEO of Myanmar.
Hi, my name is Nish, CEO of Myanmar Health. We're using AI to automate medical record retrievals for providers and clinical staff. We've all been to a doctor's office. The first thing you do is fill out a form, and another, and another. It's incredibly annoying, right? Now imagine what it's like for medical office staff. Doctors need to know your medical history, but when they have to retrieve patient records, the most technologically advanced tool in their arsenal is this. For those of you under the age of 50, that is a fax machine. Clinical staff every year spend a third of their days moving 15 billion pages of records, and 70% of this is still done manually by, yup, you guessed it, this. We built Myanmar to change this. With our platform, clinical staff can click one button, and by the time a patient comes in, the doctor has a fully digital, comprehensive patient record. We turn this into this. And this. So how do we do it? We first start by pulling data off health information exchanges, but that only gets you 40% of the way there. That's where most other solutions stop. We don't. We then leverage our machine learning tools and our clinical team to create a unified health record that's delivered back to providers on our web and mobile platforms. And we do all of this in less than 10% of the time it would take in a doctor's office. So after building a product for the past 18 months, we're thrilled to say it actually works. We launched just 6 weeks ago and already have 5 live practices. And our clients love us. Here's a text from Tanya, office manager at one of our practices. By far the fastest and easiest way I've ever gotten records before. That's incredible. Clinical staff love us, but what about the doctors? Dr. K, neuro-ophthalmologist. This can cut my administrative expense by 25%. Hiring and retaining clinical staff has been a huge pain point of mine. Dr. K saw so much potential in Myanmar that he also invested in our pre-seed. In fact, 70% of our pre-seed was raised from doctors engaging with the platform. Armed with results like this, no wonder we've already got 15 more practices on our waiting list from these major institutions. Our current pipeline alone represents more than $200,000 in revenue. But this is just the beginning for Myanmar. We're in talks with larger associations of physicians and virtual care clinics for more enterprise-level contracts, and we're engaging with payers who see the value of our service for their entire network of providers. Now, this company is in our DNA. I spent the last 10 years on Wall Street working with complex data sets, and this problem really hit home to me when I saw firsthand how important quick and reliable access to patient data was as I watched my father beat cancer. My co-founder and chief medical officer, Dr. Priya Mehta, knows it from the provider side. She has hard-earned insights on record retrieval pain points and the clinical know-how to deliver the solution. And our CTO, Alex, was on the founding engineering team at Map Anything through its exit to Salesforce, is a full-stack engineer, and has experience managing large teams of engineers. Now, I want to leave you all with one final thought. By 2030, the country is expected to be at a shortage of 200,000 nurses and 245,000 medical assistants. It's unimaginable that we're wasting so much of their valuable time with admin tasks like record retrievals. The system is broken, but Myanmar is a critical first step to the solution. If you share our vision, come talk to me, Priya or Alex. Thank you.
All right, that was Nish Hari from Myanmar. Next up, we have the CEO and founder of GenEquity. Please welcome Dion Gums.
I had a fantastic song that was supposed to play that my daughter picked. So, all right. Hi, everyone. I'm Dion Gums, and I am the CEO and founder of GenEquity. We're a financial data company enabling community banks, credit unions, and lenders to better serve small businesses. I've been in financial services for over 2 decades, solving complex problems at companies like JP Morgan and Bank of America. But it's my current experience on the board of a community bank that's shown me the actual vital importance they play and highlighted some of the difficulties that they're having. I don't know if you knew this because I sure didn't, but 97% of all US banks are community banks. That's 5,000 institutions delivering credit and financial products to 30 million small businesses. But they're having a really difficult time growing in this fast new digital world. And they're struggling to unlock one of their greatest assets, data. Now with banks, data is like the new water. In my career, I've built and sold back and middle office bank products. And my boss always used to say, it's not the sexiest thing, but it's the necessary thing, like the plumbing in your home. And through our customer discovery conversations and all of our boardroom conversations, it's become really clear that data is flowing through leaky faucets at banks. They're working with bad plumbing. They just are not equipped to handle all of it. Until now. GenEquity provides a powerful low-code solution engine that integrates unstructured data, transacts it, maps it, and brings it together to provide a real-time view of business performance. We're able to do this in minutes. Thank you. So how does it work? We're able to effortlessly collect data across multiple dimensions: tax, accounting, multiple bank accounts. Next, we're able to provide a bank with real-time 360 view of clients, key pre-populated metrics, as well as generated financial statements. This is a process that usually takes weeks from a community bank. We're able to do it, again, in minutes. Really big deal. Very, very difficult to do. And finally, loans can be approved instantly and continuous monitoring of your loan book. Now, this is really important because a banker can see red flags coming down the pike before a client does, like an increase in credit usage, or they can spot opportunities at another bank, a very large deposit account. This level of line of sight does not exist today. Bankers are just flying blind. The effects on the bottom line are clear and instantaneously. An increase in revenue, a reduction in operating costs, and a reduction in the amount of non-performing loans. Thank you. Our team has deep domain and technical expertise bringing products to market and data solutions. We've been working together for about 2 years on this. In the few short weeks that we've demoed our product, we've built a pipeline of 10 community banks, and we have a partnership with one of the largest banking associations in the country, giving us direct access to over 250 of their member banks. But that is not all, because why would it be? Of course, finally, we are really proud to announce that we'll be bringing open banking solutions to more banks around the country through our partnership with, you better all know this logo, MasterCard. MasterCard. There's $416 billion of banking revenue at stake, according to Accenture. And large institutions have a line of sight of how to get there. But community banks with GenEquity will finally be in the race. My name is Dion Gums. I want you to come see us if you're interested in transforming the delivery of capital and advice to more small businesses. Thank you.
Thank you, Dion. That was GenEquity. Next up, I am really pleased to introduce Workback and co-founder and CEO, Chris Klusner.
Hi, I'm Chris from Workback. We're the employer-funded education platform for enterprises. Thank you. My background's from Deloitte. In their Future of Work group, I saw firsthand how hard companies work and how much money they invest to develop and retain their talent, but how bad they are at it. Imagine with me that you're the CEO. It's your job to invest in your most productive assets, right? It's not hardware or software. Your most productive assets are your best people. But unfortunately, your best people are leaving. They're quitting. And half of your workforce is at risk of attrition or underperformance. I don't know if you knew this, but it costs twice a person's salary to replace them in recruiting fees and retraining. This drains nearly $2 trillion a year out of the US economy. So, why are your best people leaving? The number one reason, cited in exit interviews and proven time and time again in surveys, is a lack of career development opportunities. People don't get the growth they need in your company, and so they leave. But there's hope. Learning benefits, for the first time, have outpaced retirement benefits as something people want. Just think about that for a second. People want skills today, not a few extra $1,000s in their 401k. With Workback, we've built a simple platform to allow employers to use their existing benefits to better retain their talent. Here's how it works. On our open marketplace, employees connect with the best third-party learning content for their careers. Especially for digital skills, this helps your team to become more productive at work. Instead of running this program in a spreadsheet, our payments engine makes it simple for employers to issue virtual benefit cards to each employee so they can pay for their own learning and be organized in one place. The number one blocker why employees don't use the benefits available to them is they don't know where to start. Our recommendation engine pulls data from your HR systems and performance reviews so employees get feedback on what they need to learn to get promoted faster. And our learner community brings it all together by connecting employees with one another to find internal promotion pathways without quitting. So with Workback, our platform helps to build the skills your workforce needs and retain talent, but save money. We're seeing 300% ROI for companies embracing this new way of working. And I'm happy to announce that we already have traction with amazing companies, including $30,000 in new revenue from the trade desk. We built an incredible pipeline in just 90 days with companies like Airtable, Webflow, Flatiron Health, representing $450,000 in revenue in just 90 days. Thank you. More importantly, people love this. Our waitlist is exploding. We have 5,000 people signed up and ready for access to this benefit. Our team are future of work experts. My co-founder John and I have known each other for more than 10 years after competing in a future of education case competition. And our advisor Ross is the chief of data science at the Wall Street Journal. We're Team Workback. We're building retention technology to help companies withstand a recession. Come talk to us about the future of work.
That was Chris Klusner, CEO of Workback. Okay, so I love all of our companies equally. I swear I do. But sometimes when I'm a lead mentor, they have a special place in my heart. So that's why I'm especially excited to introduce our next company, Ryan Jager, CEO and co-founder of Cityline.
Hi there. I'm Ryan, the CEO of Cityline, the renter intelligence platform that improves the financial health of multifamily portfolios across the country. Nowadays, when a property owner screens an applicant, this is the mess that they encounter. And all the important info is in there. Social, pay stubs, bank statements. But you really have to read between the lines, not just to find a tenant that's able to pay their first month's rent, but ideally, to find a tenant that you want renewing. You see, screening data is the lifeblood of the rental industry, but it's mishandled and thrown away as soon as the lease is signed. That means that owners are flying blind to the financial well-being of their buildings, and it costs them. Over $35 billion annually are lost to eviction and held up in back payments. At Cityline, we're already working to fix this with some of the biggest names in real estate, including Fettner Properties and Scope Realty, who together own over 2,800 apartments and employ over 600 agents. You see, Cityline works like a crystal ball. We leverage tenant screening data to enable predictive risk assessments, optimized renewal rates, and even targeted bidding. Let's take a look at one of our users, Carolyn. She's owned and operated a portfolio of properties across the city for 2 decades, and this is how she used to screen her tenants. At a glance, he looks pretty good. He has a good credit, a steady income, and no eviction history. But if Carolyn used Cityline, she would have seen that he was behind on his alimony payments, which then led him to fall behind on his rent, which of course led to a costly eviction for Carolyn. So let me show you how Cityline could have stopped this snowball effect. Carolyn invites a new applicant, Steve, by simply inputting his phone number. Steve then securely signs in to his bank account and puts in his social. And just like that, instantly pulling his credit, income, criminal, eviction, and identity information, Carolyn has all the important data points she needs right at her fingertips. So now she has a good tenant. But that's just one property and one lease. How about for the rest of her portfolio across multiple lease cycles? Cityline tracks Steve's financial information across the lease, pairs it with live rental market data, and even accounts for his maintenance costs to provide Carolyn with the optimal rent renewal rate. Features like this mean that Cityline isn't just a one-off purchase for screening. We're the financial operating system for your whole rental portfolio, your CFO. And that's why, for our current users, we're projecting a 15% increase in annual NOI. Onboarding owners is so easy. because we don't compete with their existing property management software or listing sites. We integrate with them, fitting seamlessly into the existing tech stack. And we're already proving it. I'm proud to announce here today that we've begun integration with international listing giant Zumper, giving us access to over 7 million renters each month. And here's the best part. Cityline is always learning. The more renters we screen, the more renter intelligence we gather, the better our system can monitor, forecast, and improve. We know that breaking into the prop tech space is not easy, but we have the team that's up for it. I met Ryan and Rohan while we were all studying real estate finance at Cornell. We have over a decade of real estate experience at firms like Cushman & Wakefield, Douglas Elliman, Howard Hughes, and JLL. Right now, the rental industry is way too much of a guessing game. We created Cityline to turn it into a science. I'm Ryan Jager, and this is Cityline. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. That was Ryan with Cityline. Next up, I am really pleased to be introducing Scott Warner, the CEO and founder of Sublayer.
Hi, everybody. I'm Scott. Some of you out there might recognize me, but for those of you who don't, about 5 years ago, I went through ERA 12, where I co-founded a company called SaySpring, and we were acquired by Adobe. But for the last 2 years at Adobe, because of COVID, our team worked entirely remote. And hiring engineers is already hard, but trying to do it fully remote takes it to a whole other level. While we were trying to hire and recruit our remote team, I started to get interested in Web3. In particular, the ways that Web3 was making it possible to solve problems in brand new ways. I got very excited by the idea that we could use what was going on in Web3 to create a picture of developers' experience that was actually useful for them and for hiring managers. Let's say your most impressive professional experience is contributions to a series of open source projects on distributed teams that form and break up for the scope of a single project. How do you surface that on LinkedIn? How do you present that to a hiring manager? For hiring managers, how do you use that information when sourcing and interviewing new candidates? Sublayer is here to answer these questions. Sublayer is the first decentralized recruiting and networking platform built specifically for developers. We use a series of different types of NFTs that represent micro-credentials that roll up into a unified profile. For example, our project contribution NFTs allow project leaders to reward and recognize engineers on their team for specific accomplishments. The one-to-one and many-to-many connection NFTs that we're developing will allow developers to explore their network through people they've worked with on specific projects in the past, making these connections much richer and more valuable. On top of that, the protocol that we're developing will allow any community member to connect into services like these and create new types of credentials. For example, say every time you upload a YouTube video, you could receive a token that's automatically added to your Sublayer profile. Now, I've mostly been talking about the product, but the business is just as exciting. We're unbundling LinkedIn specifically for developers in a decentralized way from the ground up and going after the $30 billion software recruiting and services market in a way that the 27 million developers worldwide will actually love. We couldn't be more excited to build this future and would love to have you with us. Thank you.
All right, Scott Warner, Sublayer, thank you. Now, you probably all know that ERA is very committed to investing in companies that are dedicated to mitigating climate change. So you'll notice that we have recycling bins around, we have special cups and some plates outside that are renewable, compostable, and so forth. They were donated by our next company, and when you hear about it, you'll understand why. Please welcome Meredith Danberg Ficcarelli, the CEO and co-founder of Watts.
Hi, everyone. Imagine waking up and not being inundated with news about climate disasters. Hi, I'm Meredith, CEO of Watts. For the last 11 years, my co-founder Laura and I have built waste reduction programs for all kinds of companies, like Nespresso, Rosewood Hotels, and now we've built Watts, the purpose-built waste reduction platform. This is software for businesses that quantifies the carbon footprint of waste and automatically delivers action-oriented steps to reduce impact. We're launching with office buildings, channel partners, and carefully selected early adopters. And last week, our pilots began with an iconic West Coast burger chain with 400 locations. You probably know the one. And we're thrilled that Vornado Realty Trust onboards this fall. Our companies need us because of mounting corporate, social, and regulatory pressures, and it all comes down to waste operations. These are the workflows that make sure that your takeout containers get from the bins under your desks to the loading dock. They're complex, and they're currently managed inefficiently with clipboards and Excel sheets. So what does it all look like behind the scenes? There are stakeholders, processes, data, and infrastructure. And even though the waste in your bin seems to magically disappear by morning, it's not magic. It's a dumpster fire. 60% of the trash in trash cans in offices should be in recycling bins instead. It's more than half. And it's, why does this matter? Well, those are resources. Those are wasted resources. Watts analyzes each site's waste profile and delivers an action plan that can reduce waste-related carbon emissions by 60%. Companies follow step-by-step instructions that can lead to measurable results, like launching a composting program, purchasing sustainable paper products, or switching to reusables. And these waste reduction activities make economic sense too. Hauling costs can be reduced by 25% and janitorial time by 30%. Thanks. So Watts is the waste operating software for waste management in the built environment. We're replacing these analog tools with a digital ecosystem that's built by industry experts. Watts organizes these fragmented workflows and processes into streamlined standard procedures that are easily shareable across teams. And waste analysis and costs data are all analyzed automatically. ESG teams can access carbon metrics in a snap. And Watts prepares businesses for carbon markets that recognize the value of the raw materials that Watts keeps out of trash cans that are the foundation for global supply chains. And we get it. Saving the planet isn't a great motivator for most companies, but lucky for civilization, there's urgency for an entirely different reason. Legislation is evolving rapidly as a result of climate change. We've all seen the massive climate investment of the Inflation Reduction Act. States are already requiring companies to recycle more materials like organics and e-waste, and municipalities are actively transforming the commercial waste industry like New York City is right now with Local Law 199. If companies don't adapt, they'll incur penalties, lawsuits, even potentially loss of tenants. And look, it's not about knowing where to toss your seltzer can, right? The problems that we face as a result of climate change are systemic, and they demand holistic solutions. Waste is one of these systemic problems, and Watts is the solution. So join us as we transform waste management. Laura and I want to talk trash with you. Thank you.
Thank you to Watts. Next up, I am very pleased to introduce Michael Hess, CEO and co-founder of Emporia.
Hi,
I'm Michael, co-founder and CEO of Emporia, the first and only agile solution for B2B market research. Today, the methods for conducting the critical primary research that drives innovation across every industry is painstakingly slow and extremely expensive. When I worked within global marketing at Marriott, our team got access to research once a year. Once a year, and we would rely on that same report for critical marketing and strategy decisions for the next 12 months. Would you make decisions in July based off of a report you got in January? Probably not. But this is a problem that even some of the world's biggest brands still struggle with. Every one of these companies have wasted hundreds of millions of dollars on products and services that totally failed because of poorly executed research. Now, consumer companies have started to figure this out. Tools for consumer research have gotten pretty good, but the process for conducting B2B market research, where nearly half of last year's $76 billion research spend went, haven't changed in over 20 years. They still look like this. Outsourced firms spend months recruiting candidates for their studies, conducting interviews, and putting together an extensive report that no one reads. Only 7% of research spend is on software. Think about that. 93% is still spent on manual, outdated processes like this. And this is why we built Emporia, an entirely new, agile solution for taking external insights and translating them into business growth. Let's see how it works. This is Sheila, a product marketer at one of our customers in Boston. Her company is designing surgical systems for hospital networks in the UK, and they need to understand buyer personas for their marketing. If you've worked in marketing, you know this process takes months. With Emporia, Sheila's able to find and schedule interviews with chief med tech officers like Matthew in just a couple of clicks. See, Emporia does all the hard work. Our platform is built on nearly 1 billion professional and firmographic records, can rank professionals by best fit, and programmatically invite them to all kinds of exciting research studies. This expedited, low-cost access to research is game-changing. We just launched in August, and we've already gone from 0 to 42K in ARR in less than 6 weeks. With our current sales pipeline and conversion rate, we'll hit 150K in ARR by the end of the year and $1 million in ARR in 2023. Here's the big picture. Right now, B2B market research is a huge bottleneck that slows innovation across an entire organization. We imagine a world in which research is the engine for innovation, for sales, product, strategy, and marketing teams working seamlessly in the background so that our customers can create game-changing products and services of their own. And that is what our team is passionate about, seeing our customers innovate. And we are proud to play a part in that process. Along with my experience from Marriott, I've won a Whitaker International Research Grant to tell stories through data in biomedical engineering. My two extremely talented technical co-founders, Jake and Mark, met and worked alongside each other at Goldman Sachs before becoming team tech leads at Amazon and Flatiron Health. You probably have B2B companies in your portfolio. If you'd like to see them more confidently bring new products and services to market faster, we'd love to talk to them. I'm Michael, and this is Emporia. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Michael Hess from Emporia. So, this is only the second time we're doing an in-person demo day since COVID. And this time the room is twice as large. We're thrilled to see that it's filled. But I'll tell you that putting on an operation like this is not easy. And I want to give some special thanks to the people who made it possible. First off, many of you may have met or know our program manager, Marissa, and our program associate, Paula. I'd also like to thank our venture partner, operating partner, I don't know what you are, Michael Cerrone. You're indispensable is what you are. Also from our team, I'd like to welcome and thank Leah Baldio Singh. Let's see, who else? Who's our operations manager? Also from our team, Max, who's on our investment team, and Sho, who runs our global program. Also, we have some fantastic interns here who are checking you in and helping out with everything. So let's give a big hand to the entire ERA team. Okay, we're more than halfway through, so the second half is going to be just as thrilling as the first half. Please welcome Lou Abrams, the CEO and founder of Physical.
Hi everyone, I'm Lou and I'm the founder of Physical, a financial wellness platform for one of the largest financially overlooked populations in the US. The 157 million people living paycheck to paycheck. My parents were part of that group. They worked multiple jobs just to barely make ends meet. Like many people, they tried to get a handle on their finances by going to financial institutions like banks and financial advisors. Financial advisors rejected my parents because they didn't meet their minimums. And banks only offered my parents insanely high fee products that would have only made situations worse. In reality, this is an everyday type of conversation. 65% of Americans spend $200 or more every month on avoidable bank fees, higher interest rates, and financial products that don't meet their needs, simply because they don't have access to the right plan and the right resources. So we built Physical, an automated financial planning software combined with a data-driven marketplace for financial services. First, a user connects their accounts. Then, Physical delivers a detailed action plan and budget after analyzing their data. Next, users can access our marketplace, which is a one-stop shop from lending to banking to insurance, and it's all customized to their unique profile. At the same time, Physical combines their real-time account data with qualitative information to create a detailed credit profile, what we like to call the Physical Lens Score. This unlocks products and services like lower interest rates on loans and credit cards than they can get anywhere else. And it's all made possible by enhancing the same cash flow underwriting methodology that banks use and with their wealthier clients, except they use with their wealthier clients, which, by the way, is an alternative lending trend that is about to explode. Institutions spend billions of dollars on marketing and underwriting loans, and they all suffer from high customer acquisition cost, which is why they can't wait to be a part of our platform. And best of all, because these institutions want direct access to our user base, we're able to charge them a significant commission, and our users get free financial advice. Right now, the middle class faces significant financial challenges due to rising inflation. And that's one of the reasons that we've seen significant interest in our product in just the first couple months. We've already helped over 100 consumers become financially healthier, and with Physical's guidance, they've opened over 400 new financial accounts. So we're quickly going to market by partnering with influencers, nonprofits, and other startups, all of whom want to help the middle class. And this means we don't have to rely on expensive advertising costs to acquire users. And speaking of cost-effective marketing, we just signed partnership agreements with multiple financial influencers, giving us access to over 600,000 potential users. Today with Physical, users can connect with an affordable financial professional who can help them reduce their monthly expenses by $250 on average. Then, we're quickly expanding our marketplace by adding partners across lending, banking, insurance, and investments. Now, I know the pain of living paycheck to paycheck, but I also worked as a private banking credit underwriter and became a certified financial planner, which exposed me to both sides of the wealth spectrum. And I'm joined by a team of partners and advisors who have a unique insight into this market. Together, we know how to reach the middle class, we know how to speak to them, we know how to value them, and we know how to provide them with the right financial products. If you're interested in helping me develop innovative and transformational financial products, come see me after. I'm Lou, and this is Physical. Thank you.
Thanks to Lou and Physical. Next up, it is my pleasure to introduce Echo Sani Thomas, co-founder and CEO of Inside Voices.
It's time to admit that corporate diversity isn't working. Companies are spending billions on diversity recruitment just to watch that investment walk out the door when employees leave. And they are leaving. Attrition for underrepresented employees is up to 30% higher than for white men, costing companies an extra $80 billion per year. There has to be a better way. Hi, I'm Echo, the founder of Inside Voices, a B2B SaaS platform that helps companies retain underrepresented employees. Over the last 18 months, we've heard stories from over 2,000 marginalized employees about their workplace experiences, and we found a pattern. Almost all of these employees waited for issues to snowball for 6 months, sometimes 12 months, before escalating to HR. When they did, they found that HR didn't have the authority or the cultural competence to resolve the issue fast enough. Inevitably, those companies lost those employees, perpetuating a cycle that happens again and again. They need inside voices. They need predictive interventions. Our platform monitors employee sentiment so we can predict and interrupt the 80% of voluntary turnover employees say is due to unfairness. We do so with our continuous listening app that incentivizes underrepresented employees to provide feedback and track their well-being on a daily basis. Suddenly, HR teams have access to honest insights from their least vocal employees, all because they're shared through a trusted third party. But this isn't just another feedback app. When our early detection engine identifies an employee's sentiment is declining, we intervene to provide guidance that speaks directly to the employee's needs from our curated and recommended constellation of resources. Now, this could be anything from an expert guide to interpersonal issues, to an online soft skills workshop, to instructional video on resolution strategies underpinned by psychology. It even extends to a one-off coaching session where the employee can work with our independent confidential coaches to develop a tailored action plan. Now, our employees empowered to work towards a successful resolution, whether they decide to go to HR or tackle it themselves. The key here is that they're approaching the issue earlier, while it's still manageable, and doing so with culturally competent support. Hiring. It's expensive. In these challenging times, our new retention platform is ready to help companies achieve their diversity goals, even if they have less to spend. That's why we have companies in our pipeline representing over 500,000 employees. Our initial offering focuses on employees of color, before we expand to cover women, religious minorities, LGBTQ+, and disabled employees. With this land and expand strategy, we'll eventually be covering up to 75% of a company's workforce, more than tripling the amount of revenue we can expect from each client. Thank you. I know this problem well because I lived it. At my last company, I waited 8 months to report my manager for discrimination, leaving me without a job and seeking therapy to try to recover from trying to handle it alone for too long. I wish Inside Voices had existed then. Since then, I've become a dominant voice in conversations around DEI, leading an online community that's grown to over 40,000 in just 9 months. Our head of product, Dominic, is already a known innovator in society's evolution towards racial justice, having created the famous site Missing Black People. But listen, let me leave you with this. Next year, 80% of companies are going to improve their spending on diversity, and corporate DEI spend is expected to exceed $15 billion by 2026. For that money to make a difference, someone's going to have to fix retention. That's going to be us. Thank you.
That was Echo from Inside Voices. Next up, please welcome Isaac Dubuque, CEO and co-founder of Verilink.
Hi everyone, I'm Isaac. co-founder of Verilink, the insights engine for blockchain games. My co-founder, Nico, and I first met at the University of Michigan, and we have been project partners ever since. I'm a former Qualcomm software engineer who first started programming from an interest in game development, and Nico is a former quant with a passion for data analytics. And we are both experienced Ethereum protocol builders who are using our skills to create an analytics engine for blockchain games. Whether it's e-commerce, social media, or email, companies use analytics to collect insights into user behavior to improve their product, service, and customer experience. All of this first-party data can only be collected within the company's website and analyzed on their database. And with the upcoming death of cookies, there will no longer be third-party or external data. Analytics are critical for game development because the product is a user experience and the gameplay needs continuous improvement. In gaming, blockchain is shaking things up by replacing centralized databases. And here's why. In the current gaming model, before blockchain, money flows one way. Users pay for the game and additional content. For example, I pay for in-game items like a character or a power-up. The game has a full view of this entire process. They know exactly what's being transacted and when, and they can analyze the data to extract insights. Blockchain unlocks a new gaming economy that includes players in the value creation ecosystem. In the new gaming economy, players can earn, own, and trade their in-game assets. The game monetizes this activity through a transaction tax within this microeconomy. Now, for the first time ever, I can transfer my in-game assets across different games. Plus, I can trade these in-game assets with other players. The new gaming economy is revolutionary, but user activity is happening outside of the gameplay and out of sight of traditional gaming analytics. And this external activity has the ability to make or break the gameplay. All of the existing tools are either primitive or they focus on the wrong thing. They only offer insights into trading activity, which isn't useful for game developers, whose focus is on the player experience. We founded Verilink in order to give games full visibility into this external economy through on-chain transactions. Verilink lets games understand demographics, plan monetization strategies, and analyze the competition. In the same way that analytics are used internally within the company, Verilink uses on-chain analytics to deliver insights into activity outside of the gameplay to create a better experience. So how do we do this? We analyze millions of blockchain transactions. And we format this data into easy-to-digest customer profiles for each user. This lets us deliver insights into demographics to improve the experience for the target audience. And to understand market behavior, like user flow between blockchain games. With Verilink, games can track their user retention, churn, and overlap. We are powering the next evolution of gaming. It is a $55 billion industry and rapidly growing, with $5 billion in recent funding for new blockchain games and large game studios joining in. I'm excited to announce that we'll be officially launching our beta in fall of 2022. Join us to drive insights into the future of gaming. I'm Isaac, and this is Verilink. Thank you.
Next up, I am really pleased to introduce Jonah, the co-founder and CEO of Wave AI.
Hi. Can everybody hear me? Yes. Awesome. I'm Jonah Katz, and I'm the CEO of Wave AI. We give companies the ability to understand audio so that they can build better products that keep people safe. As humans, Our ability to recognize patterns in what we hear is critical to keeping us safe. It's why we stand back when we hear the subway coming, and why we turn our heads whenever there's a loud noise. But the technologies we rely on to keep us safe are largely deaf. They can't understand the depth of information in audio that goes beyond just speech and music, all of this non-voice sound. Just think about the safety systems in your home, work, school, or even a hospital. These systems almost always rely on video and motion sensors, and that's a problem in so many situations. Like when your security camera is aimed at the front door, but an intruder breaks in through the back window. Or in a hospital, where video isn't even legal in patient rooms due to privacy regulation. It's time to give these systems an entirely new sense, the ability to hear. Now, microphones are already everywhere, in our phones, in our cars, and all around our cities. But so much of the data they capture is being thrown away for one simple reason. It's because the software to understand it simply does not exist. And that is exactly where Wave AI comes in. We give companies insight into all of this data that was previously just being thrown away. Our patent-pending machine learning tools were engineered from the ground up to understand audio, and customers plug these tools into existing microphones to turn any basic stream of audio like this one into information they can actually use to make safer decisions. Let's take a look at Timmy, the CEO of Vara Safety. They build a smart gun holster that they sell into law enforcement agencies. And Timmy wanted to make his product detect gunshots so that instead of an officer having to call in to dispatch every time a gun is fired, the holster itself could hear the gunshot, understand that it is a gunshot, and automatically call in for help, saving precious seconds that result in real human lives. And today, we are excited to announce that we just kicked off our paid pilot with Vara Safety literally this week, which brings our total ARR to $48,000. This literally just happened, so I didn't even have time to update the slides. Now, let's zoom out for a second. Safety is a $145 billion market. And we're gearing up to partner with some of the biggest names in the industry that put us in a perfect position to expand into use cases like calling the police when a fight breaks out, and detecting when an allergy patient has an anaphylactic reaction, and even creating safer self-driving cars that slow down when they hear pedestrians right around the corner. These companies pay us a monthly SaaS fee plus a per unit deployment fee. And the 30 companies in our pipeline already represent more than 50 million devices that we can deploy to right now. My co-founder Andrew is a machine learning expert from Cornell and has firsthand experience with the challenges of building products that can understand audio. I ran the highest booking branch of a sales organization and personally recruited more than half of their workforce. So at Wave AI, I'm deploying that exact same skill set to bring together the best team of audio engineers from around the world to solve this critical problem. Audio is the future of safety. It's where today's systems really fall short. And we are building the infrastructure to create a safer future powered by the insight in audio. So if you're excited about this vision, I would love to talk to you and show you our tech in action. I'm Jonah Katz, and this is Wave AI.
All right, that was Jonah from Wave AI. Now, that team, that's another one that they've known each other since they were 3 years old. And Jonah and Andrew, his co-founder, dropped out of college to join ERA. That's the kind of dedication we like. Don't go back. Stay here. Anyway, we just have 3 left, but you're going to love them. Next up, please welcome the CEO and founder of YieldEasy, Jeff Gopstein.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jeff. I've spent the last 10 years in real estate private equity, covering over $2 billion worth of transactions, which is where I learned that my true passion was helping mom and pop real estate investors, like helping a dentist buy his first duplex, a local home flipper transact quicker, or even helping my grandmother find her first investment property. I saw firsthand how broken real estate investing is for the majority of Americans. A quarter of US adults are ready to take their first step in real estate. So let's talk about that for a second. With so many tech-enabled alternate asset classes, we asked ourselves, why is real estate still so broken? The demand for real estate investing has outpaced the demand for the stock market for the first time in human history. And despite its many problems, millions are still investing. In fact, 71% of all US rental properties are owned by an individual like you or me. The scary part, there are over 20 million people sitting on the sidelines. Why? Because buying real estate, the largest asset class on earth, has not changed in 50 years. What do I mean by that? I want you to think about the average real estate transaction, buying a property. This is what it looks like today. Juggling infinite third parties between title, inspection, insurance, legal, financing, management. Some of you might know this pain all too well. It's almost like you need an office with 10 different departments just to buy a property, which is why we built YieldEasy, the first digital back office for real estate investing. With our platform, we're delivering a personal accounting, legal, finance department, and more to every single investor. So where platforms like Zillow stop, YieldEasy starts. Investors onboard their properties to our platform and are matched with our virtual AI deal manager who shepherds them through the entire transaction end to end 100% online. Imagine for a moment not juggling any of the third-party mess that I just showed you. With YieldEasy as your digital back office, you can. Our software takes the lead, you're in control, but you're not sweating it out, giving retail real estate investors the most unfair advantage they've ever had. So who are we going after? Mom and pop investors. Why? Because they own the majority of real estate in this country. 53% of all US real estate are small apartment buildings. 80% of those assets are owned by people like you and me. And to top that off, 1 in 3 single family homes in this country are owned by an individual investor. The market is ripe for this. How do we know? Because we've been beta testing this manually behind the scenes for the last month, working with buyer's agents to see their willingness to hand off their clients' tedious workflows onto our platform, and the results were spectacular. We were rewarded $2 million worth of transactions and doubled our referral count in 4 weeks. Today, I'm pleased to announce that we've onboarded our first strategic partner, First American Title, the largest title insurance company in the country. We're in talks with countless lenders and property managers ready to help consumers through our platform. At YieldEasy, we are building the first vertically integrated end-to-end platform built for retail real estate investors. And with our vendor marketplace paired with a digital back office, we are lowering barriers and making investing in real estate laughably easy, regardless of your experience level. So why are we the team to do this? I've done this for over a decade, working at the region's largest real estate companies, and I've been an investor in these deals myself countless times. My co-founder and CTO is a prop tech industry veteran, over $1 billion worth of enterprise, such as Zip Realty and Referral Exchange. We know this problem, and we are the team to solve it. I'm Jeff. We are changing the real estate game. This is YieldEasy.
Thank you to YieldEasy. Next up, it's my pleasure to introduce Hugh Morton, founder and CEO of Tinsel.
Good evening. My name's Hugh, and I'm the CEO of Tinsel. And I want to start tonight by going back in time. 72 years ago, 8 blocks from where we are this evening, the credit card industry was born as Frank McNamara realized that he left his wallet at home while dining out at Major's Cabin Grill. 72 years. That's how long it's been since we've meaningfully changed the way we pay for things in the United States. To put that in perspective, in that time, computers have gone from this to this. Cars have gone from this to this. And yet, credit cards have only managed to add a little silver chip. The card infrastructure was built for physical, in-person transactions. The world has gone digital, but cards remain physical, which is why online transactions are wrought with fraud and cost merchants more than 3% of their revenue. But imagine for a moment if payments were no longer a toll on commerce, but a tool for unlocking value for customers and shoppers. What could that look like? Shoppers would never have to enter in their credit card number or their billing address ever again. Lost and expired cards would become a thing of the past. And don't worry about your rewards, they'll still be there. In fact, they'll be worth even more. Merchants can save 80% on their payment processing fees. Tinsel's fee is 0.5%. Thank you. Imagine what they could do with 2.5% of their sales. New products, better customer service, or even more profit. Lenders can easily identify, access, and create financing opportunities designed specifically to be more profitable and more efficient to meet the needs of customers and merchants. And finally, third-party developers can access and improve this ecosystem, creating products and features as yet undreamed, but now unfettered by the confines of the legacy payments infrastructure. These 4 pieces make up the foundation of Tinsel, a new payments rail designed to meet the digital needs of today and adaptable for the future. So imagine you've picked out a pair of Nikes at their store in Soho. You can skip the checkout line and scan and pay directly from your phone. You can pick your own rewards, 10% off your next purchase at Nike, or 2.5% directly into your child's 529 savings plan. If you need financing options, you'll have multiple options available to you from multiple vendors at the terms and rates that best suit your needs. The future sounds pretty nice, doesn't it? I've seen this problem in payments for years. They're working directly with merchants online to solve their payment problems and at one of the world's largest banks and payment processing companies. This problem is real and the opportunity is huge. If the future that I just described is exciting to you, I've got great news. Tinsel is live in processing transactions for merchants, and we're adding new customers every single day. In fact, in just the last 30 days, we've processed over $30,000 in volume. The future of payments is here. Thank you.
Thank you, Hugh from Tinsel. All right. So much about being a founder is about energy, positive energy. And this next founder has a lot of energy. So for the last presentation, I would love to get the same amount of energy back from the crowd. Please welcome Owen Monaghan, the CEO and co-founder of Sweeps.
Hello. My name is Owen, and I am the CEO of Sweeps, a challenger bank for sports fans. Our bank accounts are as exciting as sports betting, as social as fantasy sports, and as good for you as saving money. This is not a gambling product. This is a newly legalized banking product. My co-founder and I are so sports obsessed that while working senior engineering jobs at Hinge and Workday, we created a fantasy football app and grew it to 20,000 users organically. But it sucks that the most popular sports games out there are literally designed to take fans' money. I'm talking about you, sports betting. So for 300 years, prize-linked banking has been taking the negatives of gambling and turning it into a reason to save money. And I have great news. This trusted product has just been legalized in America. And we're doing something big. We are the first bank using this newly legislated product to create a responsible sports game. And let me tell you about it. Prize-linked gaming is amazing. You can never lose your money. Everything is funded by savings account interest and debit card interchange. This is an incredible incentive model because now with sweeps, sports gaming is the reward for banking. And we got started by creating a regulation-compliant game. And here are the results. We acquired 1,000 customers by growing 22% week on week for 3 months straight. And game day with sweeps is epic. As long as you've been saving money, referring friends, or using your debit card, you'll have plenty of opportunities to play. It's social. You can play with your friends, but if you want to win big, sweeps will match you against thousands of other fans to win thousands of dollars. But the craziest thing is, you'll never want to withdraw your money because this week's winnings increase your balance, which means next week you'll have more opportunities to play. But the real superstar is our referral scheme, because right now, 31% of our users make a referral every single month. You know, we make money just like any other bank by taking a percentage of the interchange and interest. But we're clearly not just like any other bank. We have thousands of ideas of how we can monetize our sports games. And we're just warming up. We've built a regulation-compliant game that our fans love, but they want to do more. They want sweeps to be their financial institution of choice. And we know this because we asked them. And 80% of our active users are already on our banking waitlist. Let me leave you with a thought. There are 230 million American sports fans, and every single one of them needs a bank account. We are the first product launching in the United States where you can save money and at the same time win money on a sports game without ever risking a dime. Now that's really a game changer. I'm Owen, this is Sweeps, let's do this.
Let's give it up one last time for the 15 amazing companies. If you would like to speak further with the companies or request meetings with them, please go to eranyc.com/demo day, and you could book time with them there. Lastly, our applications are open for our winter program, so please send any referrals that you might think be a good fit. Please send them over to the ERA team. Some of our best companies come from folks in the audience here. So lastly, thank you again for joining today, and we hope that you all stay and network with the founders and join us for some drinks and light bites at reception. Thank you so much.